No, it's like yeah, you can pass.
I just had to.
It is actually we are not practitioners. We are 10 students. We are not practitioners.
Just don't know.
You can be now and
Yeah. 1 hour.
sasa ndio na what second part of your life. They believe what coming next is one. Yeah.
You know the issue. I know the issue. You know the issue. Today, you know.
I might leave. I might leave the
No, I'm just honest.
But AMSUN is kind of a good.
What's Jim? Yeah.
Hey, nani amekuletea bro? Uliza swali.
The first thing, we'll have the official commencement of the debate. We'll have opening remarks and prayer, and then will first be addressed by the unopposed positions. They will each have a 3-minute speech, followed by a 3-minute Q&A. We'll ensure that the time is adhered to strictly. So we'll have the preclinical representative, who will be followed by the sports and entertainment representative, followed by the editor general, and finally for that category, we'll have the external affairs representative. So in this category, you'll have 3 minutes to present your pitch, followed by a 3-minute question and answer session. After that, we'll move to the contested positions. So we'll have the publicity secretaries. We'll have a 3-minute speech each, followed by a 3-minute collective Q&A. Organizing secretaries, you'll have 3-minute speech each, followed by a 5-minute collective Q&A. And then we have, is the treasurer an unopposed position? It is. Yeah, so we'll have like the senior unopposed positions. So that's the treasurer who will be given 4 minutes to pitch and 4 minutes Q&A. And secretary general, which is also an unopposed position, if I'm not wrong, will be given 4 minutes to pitch and 4 minutes Q&A. We'll finish the debate with the contested positions of vice chairperson and chairperson. The vice chair aspirants will each be given 4 minutes to pitch and a 5-minute Q&A. And the chairperson aspirants will each be given 5 minutes to pitch, and then 10 minutes collective question and answer session. So yeah, finally we'll have finalizing prayer, yeah, and departure of the guys attending. So by a quick show of hands, is the preclinical representative here? Okay, so the preclinical representative is missing, so we'll pass over that position. Sports and entertainment representative, are they here? Okay, so you will be starting off this debate. Is the editor general here? So the editor general is not here, we'll also be passing over that position. Is the external affairs representative here? Okay, nice. So for this category, we'll have the sports and entertainment representative. You'll have 3 minutes each to pitch, followed by a 3-minute Q&A, as well as the external affairs representative. So I welcome those 2 people to the stage.
Zooming ladies.
Kindly let's maintain silence so we can keep time. So for the unopposed positions, the only people who confirmed to be present was the external affairs representative and the sports and entertainment representative. The others were not here and are still not here. We can confirm that they're not here. Okay, sawa. So for the unopposed positions, we'll only have the preclinical representative, the sports and entertainment representative, as well as the external affairs representative. You will each have 3 minutes to pitch, followed by a 3-minute Q&A. So you will want to start? So your 3 minutes starts now.
Good afternoon, guys. My name is General Obuko. I'm a 50th medical student. I'm a 50th student. I'm buying for sports and entertainment. secretary. First, I'm highly qualified for this position. I think I am sporty. I play football. I captain my class. I run a lot. I organize so many of these running we do runs every weekend during the week. So I think competency, I think I'm there. So okay, so the main reason I wanted to work for this position is I want to decentralize this sports thing. I want to usually the sports docket hasn't had someone who is a sporty, someone who understands whatever we do. So I want to decentralize the hobby, bring it closer to the people, because I've been the people in the past 5 years. So I want to bring it closer to the people. I want to organize more of these runs, more of this football, whatever, more of tasks in the evening. Away from football and sports, etc., there's also the entertainment bit. We want to bring game nights. We want to do so we want to do Zumba. We want to do yoga. So going forward, I want you guys to know that I'm an open person. I'm actually really friendly. You can always approach me and tell me whatever you want worked on, or whatever you want implemented. And yeah, I'm being told I have 1 minute, but I think I'm done. So I think I had because 3 minutes for Q&A. So if there's a question or something like that. My friend is here.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Joy Witi. I'm a FIBIA medical student on holiday and the incoming external affairs secretary. So first of all, I'm pleased to be here, and the reason why I applied for this position is mainly to streamline and bring all opportunities closer. Because everyone, okay, not everyone, but let me just dive into my manifesto for a second, then I can talk about my personal achievement in areas external affairs. So yeah. So practically, my manifesto is built on 3 frameworks. Number 1, the 3 strategic pillars of operation, which I'll delve into, and 100% student reach, and lastly, 1 clear vision. So for the 3 strategic pillars, as I said initially, the main reason why I am here is to decentralize communication to every student. As we all know, every AMSUN post has a committee, and I aim to have an external committee that includes people from every level, that is year 1 through to year 6. Why do I need that? Because sometimes you see that most opportunities are clinical based, but then and the preclinical levels don't actually get much of the outreach because they're not on the committee. But then if we have a better streamlined communication channel whereby someone in first year, after first year, they can get better elective program, they can get better placement from by being informed earlier on, then things will work better. And my other pillar practically is for better professional development. So, okay, I have a minute, but I'll share the manifesto for people to go through. And only have one hospital that's Kinango, but that's not very efficient for everyone because it's around Nairobi. So we're planning to work with the social team and the state committee to establish other hospitals throughout the region, the areas of placement, and also to ensure that the electives let us come earlier, electives programs are actually, meaning they're actually communicated way earlier as soon as you complete your end of year examination. And lastly, in order to bring a better community cohesion, is to publicize and revitalize clubs in the school, because I'm so sure not everyone knows how many clubs are here, or do you actually take part in the clubs, which is also part of the mandate of the external affairs docket. And yeah, the time is up, and if you can ask any questions. I'll share the manifesto for a better outlook. Thanks for that. So, is the preclinical representative here? Okay, what about the editor general? Okay, so we'll move to some of the contested positions. So I'll invite the aspirants for the publicity secretary position to the stage. So the ballot to decide who will pitch first. Okay, so you have 3 minutes to pitch, which will be followed by a 5-minute Q&A. Are you ready? Okay. Are you ready? Okay, so your time starts now.
Okay, to the Western Governor. It's okay, good evening everyone. My name is Gordon Okot. I'm MBCHP year 2, and I'm contesting for publicity secretary. AMSUN 2025-2026. So from my manifesto, I will say that from tomorrow evening, we will have the following. First, we will have to grow the AMSUN accounts. It is very important because my sector is dealing with social media. So we have to grow the social media accounts first. For example, in Instagram, you know that the official AMSUN account, if I leave alone the AMSUN Gazette, the AMSUN account is only having 3,001 followers. So the first thing that we are going to do is to grow that account. I have friends all over the country who will follow our accounts. Another thing that I want to say is that Okay. So another thing, my second manifesto is that each academic level from 1 to 6 will have an additional legal and open revision channels that will post only academic books. So for example, the one that has been around the school is the G2 Drive. So we will not have the G2 Drive now. We will have AMSUN official account that is only having if it is, for example, in level 1 we have physiology and biochemistry and anatomy. You will find the books labeled and you will get access to them. For the second one, we say that we will be connecting medical sticks, we will be creating medical contents, we will go to the lab, just a minute. We will go to the lab, we will create contents, and you know that University of Nairobi is the best university in Kenya, one of the top 10 in Africa. So, because medical, like in MPHB, is the topmost course in University of Nairobi, we are going to compete worldwide together with the Indian contents. We will go to each and every, if it is the lab, we will go there and create everything that we are supposed to do to win those prizes. Another thing that we're going to do is to create the website for the AMSUN. That's from tomorrow evening at 5:30. We will create the website for the AMSUN. This website will have 2 categories. The first one, it will only be academic issues. If you have a medical content that you want to post legal, it will be there. Then the other one will now be co-curricular activities. If you have something that you will sell there, so that we eliminate the market. Like if first years are coming, they will have to go to the website. They get the lab equipment from that website that are standard. Not that somebody will be there to sell for them. So they will get them from home or from school. Okay, my time is up, Yamisho. It's okay, thank you. Thank you. My manifesto is in the book. I will send it out. In case of any questions, you can ask me the questions, right?
You have 5 minutes for Q&A.
It's okay.
Okay, so if anyone has a question. You have a minute for Q&A, so keep your question.
I have only one question for you. How realistic are your goals? Given that you're saying you're going to do this and this, and you including India's continent, that you're going to actually be reaching out to, how realistic are they? You know, you have to be realistic.
Okay, I told you first of all that we say that University of Nairobi is one of the best universities in the world, top 100 universities of the world. So meaning every content that we are going to put there have to compete worldwide. That's why I mentioned India contents.
Bro, in your manifesto, you have written, allow me to read, to make all AMSUN events affordable for students. I don't think that's your job. Okay. That's number one. There's quite a few.
It's okay. So what we are going to do is that the publicity sector, first of all, you know that I will have to be the committee for those events. So that's something that I'm going to push while I'm in that committee. In case I'm not going to chair the committee, I will push it to the committee that will be in those events.
Okay, so your second one, in your point number 3, you've written, build relationships with other student groups and co-host events. Now, my question is this, no offense to you, but because of your level, you're in level 2. Most of the activities happen in Kenyatta. Most of the student-led clubs, they run in Kenyatta. Like, again, How much in touch are you with them for you to actually implement this? It just seems like something you just wrote off.
It's okay. It's okay. So we are going to do this. We are going to ask the questions. Then I will note them down when I answer them. That's okay. So I want to be interrupting you when you are answering. Okay? That's like we are arguing.
Of course.
It's okay. It's okay.
So I asked for. Okay.
My question was, you mentioned that you do away with the G2 drives that already exist in order to create a whole new drive. Now my question genuinely is, if that system that we've been relying on from like the 6 years that I done, the people that are about to graduate, these drives have been here way before we even started. So why are you deciding to write off a system that is working? Why are you breaking a system that's working? What's the point? And then my second question, I have two questions. My second question is, on social media, you mentioned that the Instagram has 3,001 followers. Your main target of publicity is to no one else but the main student, the medical students. That is your priority. Now, or at least I assume that should be your priority. You'd have to confirm with that. So why is that a big deal in your manifesto? Why is the social media account a big deal in your manifesto when it's already doing pretty well? Because 3,001, if you fill a room with 3,000 people, that's great. So why is that your main goal? Yeah, those are too much.
Okay, to my question is, you say that you're going to grow the account from 3,000 to whatever number that you're saying. You don't grow an account by having friends. Okay, another thing, you have a portfolio that we can look to verify that you are qualified for the job. You have a TikTok account you can go to, an Instagram account you can go to verify that you have an account. Okay, and also part of the publicity secretary role is to create posters. Do you know the tools, or do you know the know-how to create those content and also those posters? Thank you.
Okay, my question, as a summary, past experience. What past experience do you have? But my main question is, you mentioned websites. You mentioned websites, yes? Most of our medical students in this faculty, at least, are mainly on TikTok, Instagram, WhatsApp. Will a website have greater reach, you think? And also, there's a website that does exist for AMSUN, but it's not being funded. What do you intend to do about that?
Okay, we have 3 minutes. You have 3 minutes to you have 3 minutes to respond.
Okay, so this is it. For the first one, that's the affordable events issue. Is something that if I'm going to be the committee for planning the events, I will push so that the student get a way that we can go to the events at affordable price. If I'm not going to chair the meeting, I'm going to be a member of that committee. So obviously I will try my best, because that's something that is in my manifesto. I will try my best to push that to the next level. Then for the G2 drive, we are not going away with the G2 drive. I've just said that we are going to have such. I did that as an example. I'm not saying that we are going to do away with the G2 drive, okay? So we are just going to have the AMSUN account that is posting the medical content for each and every level. So I didn't say we are doing away with the digital drive, okay? Then the next thing, the Instagram account, that you are saying that the 3,000 is okay. Right now, you know that University of Nairobi is world-class university. You can't tell me that only 3,000 people have been to AMSUN since. Even I think even only the people who have graduated or people who are still coming, they need to see AMSUN. Don't tell me that only 3,000 people are like no AMSUN in Kenya. AMSUN need 50,000 and above followers. How we are going to do this is not friends. The formula to get followers in Kenya is very simple. Formula to get followers in Kenya is very simple. Okay, so this is it. Okay, you want to know how we're going to do it? Okay, so personally, I have a brother who is a content creator. His name is Jimocho. Okay, if you know the one who made it speaker, I aligned with him. He's going to give me his influence if possible. Let's go to another answer for time. I have 7 questions. So, okay. For the TikTok account, I have 2,242 followers in TikTok. You can check. Go to 215. So the content that I've been posting there, it is not that medical, but okay. Thank you guys. God bless you.
So we now welcome the second aspirant for that position. So you have 3 minutes to pitch. Your 3 minutes will be followed by a 5-minute Q&A. After your 5-minute Q&A, we'll have a 5-minute collective Q&A. Because of the time we have spent in this session, for the following aspirants, we won't have an individual Q&A session, we have a collective Q&A session. So yeah, you have 3 minutes to pitch. Your time starts now.
Good evening, everyone. So my name is Mura Joy. I'm a level 2 MBCHP student, and I'm vying for the position of Publicity Secretary. But before I share my manifesto with you, I would like to help you understand the role that I will be playing as a Publicity Secretary. So what my office does, basically, I handle the face of the organization. I'm also in charge of the social media of AMSUN, and I'm also the correspondent between AMSUN and the students. So I'll dive into the details now of my manifesto. My manifesto is broken down into 3 pillars, and then I will break them down further. So the first one is outreach. My second pillar is accessibility. And my third pillar is functionality. So for outreach, I want to capitalize on long-form content that includes YouTube. I'm also aware that there's a website, but it's currently not functional, and I want to revamp it. And also, I want to capitalize on emails, which I will do so by collaborating with the corporate affairs. That way, everyone, not only medical students, but also other students, can access our events. My second point, which is accessibility. You are all aware of reviews. I want to, or rather, I am collaborating with BSc students to ensure that the reviews they do not get lost. Basically, I will be posting them up on the YouTube, which I've said I will capitalize on. And also, as you're all aware, YouTube monetizes after some point. So I will use those finances that will be generated to remunerate the BSCs for the efforts. And to my last point, functionality. And for this one, my main aim is to decongest the class groups. You're all aware there's a lot of chaos currently. Someone is trying to sell you a stethoscope, another person is telling you to nominate them, to vote for them. So I am planning on decongesting the class groups so that they're functional. And that way, even when I'm making announcements and notices, you guys can access the information distinctly and class matters can remain class matters basically. Why am I the best candidate, you may ask? I have the skills, I have the expertise, I have the experience. Besides a medical student, I'm a content creator, and I know how to use things such as Canva, CapCut, and if I may add, all the posters you've seen of me, I'm the one who designed them. Thank you. I'd like to conclude by first thanking you all for your attention and your time to be present here. And pretty much it. Yeah. Thank you so much.
We'll now proceed to the Q&A question, or Q&A session, sorry. So if you have any questions for this candidate, okay, so
Good evening. Thank you, Joy, for articulating your manifesto well. Now, my question is, the things you've said, I've heard them before. Celia was there, she did her best. There was Queen Jamila, and many others who had the same vision as the one you have. What do you intend to do different this time around? Question number 2, I've heard you saying you want to decongest class groups. How do you intend to do that? And does that in any way affect the vendors in the groups who are medical students who are looking for a means of taking care of themselves, paying school fees, upkeep and all? How are you going to balance the two competing needs? Thank you.
Okay, hello. How are you? I like your speech. I just wanted some questions regarding your timeline and when you expect to achieve most of the things that you have said, so we can hold you accountable should you win.
there are no other questions, so you can respond to those. You have 3 minutes.
Okay, so thank you for your questions and also thank you for engaging with me. So you've asked me 2 questions: what I intend to do different and how I plan on decongesting the groups. So for the first part, what do I intend to do different? Number 1, Celia, who was there before, has done a really good job. And I think the best I can do is only take up from where she left and come up with creative ways in collaboration with the other dockets to ensure that I can do better. And I also plan on starting as early as possible, which is probably tomorrow at 1 p.m., so that all these things can be established. And I would like to join your question with his question. You've asked me about the rollout timeline, and I intend for most of my things mentioned to be established within the first 6 months of my year in office. That way, for the next 6 months that are remaining, I can polish up with them so that even when the next publicity secretary is coming into office, it will be a bit easier for them to handle. So for decongesting the groups, you have asked me about the vendors. I do have a plan for you guys. I did not forget you. So basically, what I intend to do is I intend to collaborate with the class reps. That way, for the business people, we can have hours for you where you can be posting your things. And it gives students the idea that we have this certain time, we're expecting business people to advertise their products. That way there is no collision between class matters and also the advertisements. I will also introduce a plan on establishing a day in the week where business people can advertise their products to the medical students. That way also it creates a good perception with the other students and they become more receptive of what you're advertising to them. Because sometimes when there's a lot of congestion in the groups, people don't want to engage. And you want both sides to win. You want both of you to listen to one another. Because at the end of the day, the medical students are going to be your online customers, and you don't want to end up breaking that rapport as high as possible. And yeah, I think I have answered those questions. If there are any other questions, feel free to ask. I still have a minute left, so if you would like to present anything else, I'm open to listen.
Okay, if I have no other questions, okay, one final question there. You have 30 seconds.
Mine is not a question. I'd actually like to commend both of you being in level 2 and facing such a daunting audience that is level 3 and above. So you're doing a good job. Thank you.
Thank you for that. If there are no other questions, I'd like to thank the 2 aspirants in this position. You're free to leave the stage as we welcome the next aspirants. So for the next session, I'd like to invite the aspirants for the organizing secretary position to the stage. So, having go to the aspirants vying for the organizing secretary position, you will have 3 minutes each to pitch your manifesto, which will be followed by a 5-minute Q&A session from the audience. So, I believe you have balloted. Okay. So you have 3 minutes. Okay, so it starts now.
Good evening, everyone. Good evening. My name is Howie Amolo, and I am an MBCHB a 3 student vying for the position of organizing secretary. I believe in 3 things: action, connection, and prosperity. Now, the work of the organizing secretary is to facilitate the planning, execution, and the logistical capabilities of the AMSUN Executive Committee and all members of AMSUN. Under my docket as the organizing secretary, it is my mandate and I will do 3 things. 3 things that I believe that I can do, 3 things that I believe will benefit you. I want and I will strengthen clubs. I will increase the outreach that we have outside in terms of medical camps, and I will also increase financial literacy amongst our students. Now, many of you may not know me, some do. However, I do believe that when you elect me, I will do my best and definitely will satisfy what you want in an organizing secretary in action, connection, and prosperity. My name is Howie Amolo, vying for the role of organizing secretary, and I really want to ask for your vote. Thank you.
Thank you for that, Harry. You can take a seat as we get the next speech. We have the Q&A session at the very end, which will be collective for all three of you. So I'll invite the next aspirant at the stage. Okay, so you have 3 minutes to pitch. Your time starts now.
Good evening, everyone. Good evening. I'm Philip Okello, MBCP year 2. I'm vying for the position of AMSUN Organizing Secretary. And as I stand before you today, we know of the poll that was conducted by MTV, and we can say that students feel disconnected from AMSUN at the moment because 46% of the students are not concerned about these elections, and 13% or maybe 14% doesn't know about AMSUN. I think I'm correct. Yes. This is true because most of us, or many of us, aren't enjoying the benefits of AMSUN. We are not enjoying the benefits of AMSUN, and we can say we feel disconnected. And I, Philip Okello, being visionary, I want to bring back the reconnection. One of the core mandates or the objectives of the association is students' advocacy. And I believe I am able and will advocate for students' academic, social, and mental health care. We all know of the struggles in bus, the bus struggles, and we must acknowledge the efforts of the previous regime, and I want to pick it from where they left and try to find a solution. The third, we know I want to introduce transparency in our logistics. We know events are being held daily or perhaps after some period, but there's no transparency in this logistics. So I want to publish logistics after every event. And I still want to bring about post-event feedback mechanism so that we can get your feedback to make sure our events are up to what you require. I believe I'm able, I believe I can, to pick it from where the previous regime left it. I want to ask for your votes, I want to ask for your support, because I believe I'm capable. Thank you.
So I'll now invite the final aspirant.
So my name is Gideon Laula. I'm a 5th-year medical student, trying to the AMSUN Organizing Secretary position. And without further ado, let me dive into business. So my main agenda for running for this position is to promote a sense of community that will nurture collegiality, mentorship, and preserve mental well-being, while also grounding ties with partnering organizations. So for my manifesto, first thing first, mental health. The mental health and well-being of medical students remains a serious concern. This year we tragically lost one of our own. May his soul rest in peace due to mental health challenges. We cannot allow such losses to occur in our faculty. So I intend to collaborate with existing clubs and organizations such as FOMH to hold monthly mental awareness campaigns, promote peer support systems, and foster an environment where students can openly seek help without stigma. The next agenda is escapades. Community, fun, and mental rejuvenation are essential for a balanced student life. I aim to establish partnership with groups such as Soulmate Treks, a community that promotes mental wellness through hiking and nature expeditions. There are also student-led initiatives such as Dopa, And my friend, so such communities will help to nourish us as medical students, whether your passion lies in conquering nature trails, crushing trivia, solving problems, playing Jenga, Monopoly, or Kenya at 50. This escapade will serve as team-building opportunities that strengthen bonds and create meaningful connections within our student community. Community health programs, another challenge. As the saying goes, kinyozi hajinyoi, na akijinyoa hujikata. So even the big sometimes neglect their own role in community health. Over recent years, participation in crucial programs such as STI counseling and cervical cancer awareness has declined, despite these being global public health priorities, as we even saw lastly in the Nairobi statistics with HIV being quite rampant among the youth. So I intend to revive and strengthen student involvement by collaborating with student-led initiatives like Daktari Tuambie, who already excel in community health education, partnering with the newly formed University of Nairobi Public Health Club, creating platforms within the MDCHP program to support continuous community outreach and health promotion. Together we can re-energize our commitment to community health as future health leaders. Venues and transport. As organizing secretary, I will prepare a well-structured annual activity calendar to ensure smooth planning and execution of all faculty programs. Transport remains a recurring challenge for many students. I will collaborate with AMSUN and other relevant authorities to secure reliable, timely, and sufficient transport for academic, social, and community events. With that, friends, I am here to request for your support come the day of tomorrow. Vote for me, vote for competence. Thank you so much.
Without further ado, we'll dive into the Q&A session. So I'll invite questions. We have 5 minutes for that. We'll answer all the questions at the end collectively. Yeah, so.
Hi, Gideon. My question is for you. Out of the three of you, you dissected your vision the best. You told us about the organizations. You told us, yani, umetupa story, you painted the picture. But if I asked you right now what your favorite football team is and why you support that football team, you would be able to give me a breakdown straight on, right? From your seat with passion. Your opponents did that for themselves, even though they did not go into the details. I want you, when you answer this question, to tell me your vision from where you sit without your notes. I want you to show me that you believe in yourself before
Hi guys. My question, I have two questions. One is to Philip and the other is to Gideon. So for Philip, my first question is: you mentioned a lot of problems. And not everybody knows these problems exist. The transport was a problem. Advocacy was a problem. The venues are a problem. The events are a problem. You mentioned a lot of problems, but at no point in time did you straight up tell us what you were going to do to fix them. You just said you would. So my question to you is: could you enumerate a step-by-step plan or a step-by-step guide that you have to fix these problems? Because you've just mentioned what, but you haven't mentioned the how. So my question to you, and I think something the crowd said, is how. My question to everybody first is just how. To Gideon, you mentioned, I see you've accepted your plan very well. I see you've already communicated to partners. I know that Isaiah from Dopa and the other clubs, and I know the club guys are very excited with that. But now my question is, aside from all of that, do you have a portfolio of getting these things done outside of you running? Because you could mention things you want to do, but have you done something similar before? That would be my question. Is there a past experience portfolio? Yeah, thank you.
Hey, my name is Nabil, and I just have one question here. To Filippo Gello, you said that you will pick up from where the last AMSUN left. I just want to know where they left. Exactly. We want facts here. Where did they left?
Good evening, all. Good evening, all. My name is Lito Nyangojura, third year MCHB student. I serve in the outgoing AMSUN organizing committee. And guys, we've talked our minds out. Here is the question to you. During the previous AMSUN regime, we had problems organizing those events. Why? Because we were sourcing funds. You are here who are going to sponsor the incoming events. I want you to tell us, where are your sourcing funds? Good evening, everyone. Good evening, everyone. I would like to point this debate to key interesting features that have been mentioned here. For the 6th years, 5th years, 3rd years, we've had like even the first years and second years, we've had like issues with the decolonization of medical language towards the community. That's what we all are moving towards. And I like the point that Gideon Kaula pointed out that with Daktari Pombe, we are demedicalizing the medical conditions from our community. Now, my first question to Javier Molo and Okelo is how would you involve our senior partners, the 5th years and 4th years, and your fellow 3rd years to AMSUN organizing events? You basically, it's you who organize it, right? So how would you involve the rest of the members towards this event? Thank you.
So actually time is up. I don't think we have any more questions. You'll have 3 minutes each to respond to the questions. Eddie? Okay, so you have 3 minutes each to respond. Who would like to start?
Good evening, everyone. Good evening. For the most part, most questions weren't really addressed to me, but please elaborate your question further. Really. Let me come there. We don't have time for the back and forth. Sorry, just unaweza paza sauti tafadhali. Bwana Koech. Thank you so much, Coach. I really like your question. So, actually, in my manifesto, I have touched on matters concerning events and their attendance, The main issue facing most events, as you would all agree, is incentive. Most people, especially first years, second years, third years, wananga incentive. Chini, wacha tu niongee. Sasa, for the most part, it's usually incentive for juniors. For seniors, it's time. Senior kweli, it's time. Kwa hivyo, sorry? Thank you. Anyway, asante sana. So the thing is, for juniors, as I've said, it's incentive. Incentive, it's very simple. I approached ICA Lion and National Bank. Their managers are my close friends. Thing is, I told them when we arranged financial. Sinaniacha na manifesto na ndio na depend nayo. Manake nasema for my manifesto I included financial days. For these financial days, for example, that is seniors. For example, we do need incentive for juniors. And when I approached these financial institutions, they did say something like lunch, sio kitu ngumu kwao. Manake ukileta chakula kwa vitu za comrades, mtakosa kucha. Second thing is, for seniors, I definitely put it in my manifesto that I would love to have seniors in my events. And the best way to do this is to have them recorded. Because seniors in Nakonga clinical rotation son. And you guys really need to chill. Chill. Because of these clinical rotations that I may not know the hours for. We do plan to record these, and even one of the recorders is my best friend here, Paul TV. So I do believe that I can do this, sawa, and I will do it.
Everything. So the main question I was asked is how? Yes. Now, in my manifesto, I began by saying advocacy. Advocacy is not a tedious process, as we can all acknowledge. While advocating, we know the processes, we sit and talk problems. And when solution has not been found, we move to the next steps. And the next question, in the next manifesto, I talked about logistics. So in transparency in logistics, it's just about publishing information, making it available within 2 weeks of any event. And then in planning, prior planning and when recording of the AMSUN calendar is necessary for smooth events. Then there was a question, if I can remember, of partnership. So for the partners, I can't claim much, but I know so many people. It's true. But then, I don't believe it's very difficult to add. Of course, I'd request for the previous regime to at least give us the list of partners they're associated with. And if that will not be enough, then we will source, we will look for other alternatives. And I believe I've answered the questions.
This happened last year. Let me share a story where my brother happened to do his exam. My brother doing my vision. What's wrong? Yeah, so this happened last year where my brother got a missing mark in pathology and ended up not being on the pass list. And I saw this one-on-one. He stood alone. There was no one. I asked him, where is your class rep? He told me the class rep is in Rwanda. The only thing he can do is just call. He stood alone. And for 4 weeks where we had to follow up his marks. That was a harrowing experience. And that's why I'm advocating for the mental health aspect. Another question was portfolio. I happen to have been a member of the National Council, the Student Surgical Forum, and also part of the subcommittee, social and team building. And through this, we have organized surgical trivias. Every Saturday evening, there's a surgical trivia. And this brings people from different universities in the country. And they get to participate. And through this, we get to uplift one another. We get to exchange ideas. So yes. The last question was?
Vision.
So for the resources, we are planning to have an AMSUN activity fund kitty where people can donate funds. I believe some are a bit well off, we know. So I believe through an AMSUN kitty, we can start small before we start approaching sponsors through drafting of proposals. Yeah.
So if there are no other questions, I'd like to thank the aspirants for this position. You're welcome to leave the stage as we invite the next group. So for the next session, I invite the following aspirants. The 3 positions are uncontested. So they'll have 3 minutes to deliver their pitch. And then we'll have a collective 5-minute question session. I invite the treasurer, the clinical representative, and the secretary, the person vying for the secretary general position.
Let's have some silence. Let's have some silence. We're going to have a session of balloting, and then we're going to start. Okay, you can just start. 3 minutes.
Good evening. My name is Emmanuel Wandera, known as Manu Wandera. Most of you have heard that name. I'm the face behind it. I'm vying for the position of treasurer for 2025-2026. And I didn't just wake up and decided I want to be the treasurer. I'm passionate about student leadership and more so our professional body, AMSUN. So since I was in first year up to, I've been involved in all these elections. I've always wanted us to have the right people in office, and I've always tried where possible to support people I deemed competent. Now, I've done BSc Physiology, currently in 4th year in session, and I believe that I wasn't born a leader, but in good time to be a leader, self-made from business leadership to academic leadership. And I believe I'm competent to lead AMSUN in the capacity of treasurer, at least for this term. And the reason I chose treasury is I'm passionate about finances, and I'm also experienced in terms of dealing with finances, soliciting for funds. In our organization, we've had events where we had to look for sponsors, and we've also sponsored events. So, where I believe of the best for this position is when we'll be going to, or when we'll be with my team, when we'll be looking for sponsors, I know what a sponsor is looking for. No one will give you money with no returns, yeah? Okay, thank you. So the return on investment is what focusing on making sure that we are giving them back what it is they expect, so that the next committee that comes can still go back and they will be receptive. We don't want a situation where, I remember the past years we had a very good sponsor who I don't know what happened, I don't want to go into it, but I would really try to have that good relation. And then also have integrity. I've been the trustee of our academic consultancy. Thank you. I've been the trustee of our academic consultancy. And for 1.5 years, we've never had issues of me running with money or anything. And with AMSUN, it's safe because I'm just a signatory. I want to be like keeping the whole money. So you can trust me, and I promise I will discharge my services with utmost integrity. Thank you so much.
Good evening, fellow comrades. I am Amos Odira of level 5 MSHP, and I'm happy to see my wonderful comrades, and thank you for the support. I'm vying for AMSUN Secretary General, unopposed. And one thing I'm happy about, I'm not hungry for power. Service came to me, listen, and I came. And as I stand here today, I'm here not to be served, but to serve you, and therefore I will fight for you. One of my major roles as the Secretary General is to be the voice of comrades. I will represent my fellow comrades to the admin and not representing the admin to the comrades. And therefore, it will be my mandate to engage my fellow comrades, to know what we want, to know our demands, and to air them to the admin, and to push for the very best resolutions that we can get. I believe that with the experience I have, I know not everything, but I know most of what we comrades are going through. And therefore, during my tenure, I'll make sure that we push for those reforms in every AMSUN meeting. I'll make sure that I air what the comrades want to the executive committee, because that is my mandate as the spokesperson of over 2,500 students in AMSUN. Second point, we all know that our primary goal here is our academics, and therefore I'll push every agenda that is related to our academics. Me standing here today, it is not a sudden spark of interest. I've been active in mentorship intentionally since I was in second year, because this is something I'm really passionate about, and therefore I'll push for this across all levels to make sure that we get the very best in that field. Another thing, the mentorship for our junior years, mentorship has always been focused on only those levels, and I'll make sure that this is done well in collaboration with other members of the executive committee. It is also my mandate to ensure that every new member of AMSUN, because every medical student that is coming here is by de facto a member of AMSUN. I'll make sure that they are well oriented about AMSUN and our activities, and we'll make sure that they are well integrated. I've had a wonderful experience of wonderful orientation. I personally have been in orientation committees, and therefore I'm well aware of this. I'm being told that my time is up, so I'll go to the last point. We all know that AMSUN has been struggling for funds lately, and therefore I'll work in collaboration with the executive committee that we have, and I shall try the very best to fight with them, with every member of the committee, to solicit funds for AMSUN, to make sure that every event organized, despite in the vice chair's docket, organizing secretaries docket, every other docket, we'll make sure that we fight together in this, so that the comrades enjoy. A comrade must enjoy, is it? Yes. Thank you for your time, and thank you for the support.
Order, please. Keep time. We don't want to be here to keep time.
Comrades, power. Comrades, give him. William Debello, NDCHB2. I'm an aspirant eyeing the preclinical representative post. So I should have addressed you earlier, but unfortunately something came up. I had two options: to either bolt or take the bus. But being a patriotic comrade, I definitely opted for the bus. So here, what constitutes my agenda, or the things that I'm looking forward to achieving once I assume office. The first one is fulfilling my constitutional mandate as outlined in the AMSUN Constitution. There are roles that are outlined in the AMSUN Constitution, and I'm binding myself to ensure that I deal with each of them circumponiously. The second one is organizing the peer-to-peer mentorship programs. Yes, I'll actively champion for sessions whereby senior students will come and talk to junior students, or at least give them advice on how they can maneuver through medical school. I'm a strong believer of the importance of the advice of those people who've gone before us. Then number three, mental health. It's a pertinent issue, and it goes without saying that we have to address it actively. We have to include it in all of our discussions and dialogues. The fourth thing that I'm psyching myself up for is cooperating with all the other relevant authorities, cooperating with the departments, cooperating with the fellow AMSUN executive members, and cooperating with the students. I believe that it goes without saying that this interconnectedness is so conspicuous that you can't do this alone. You can't have an AMSUN without the students' body. You can't have an AMSUN without the UNSA. You cannot have an AMSUN without the departments. So I'll be keen on that, to cooperate with all the relevant authorities. Number 5 is being accessible and open. Yes, it's important that leaders are held accountable from time to time. I was trying to come up with a forum whereby students can reach out and add their grievances or feedback, so that we keep on refining and fine-tuning our leadership as time goes by. Lastly, I believe that it's not possible for us to just sit back and entrust the whole responsibility of now revolutionizing AMSUN, now reach those high standards of delivering and advocating for the mandate for the welfare of the student without we actually coming out and participating actively. Thank you so much. Have a blessed day.
Thank you. We want to move quickly to the Q&A question. So we have 5 minutes. And try as best as you can to be brief with your questions. Thank you.
Hi everyone. My question goes to Emmanuel Mandela. I'm not so sure whether you're the right person to answer this, but let me just ask. The issue of the AMSUN white coat ceremony, it's really a challenge the past years, because we see in UTSA and LUPSA, the white coat ceremonies are free. Why should AMSUN white coat ceremonies require the students to pay? And when you get into that position, if that's in your power, how will you make it affordable for the students, or is it even possible to make it free? Yeah, because that's a hindrance. Some people don't attend it because of the finances.
Good evening once again. I have a question each for the treasurer incoming and the SG incoming. Now, to the treasurer, I know you're a very established business person in this faculty, but now, here, tomorrow, or now, you look to the treasurer of AMSUN. AMSUN has a business, specifically a printing business. You see, that's a conflict of interest already. How are you going to balance between the interest of the association and your business, personal business? That's the question to Wandera. Now, to Odira, my question is about one of your roles as the SG of the association, the constitution. You are the custodian of the AMSUN constitution. There has been a problem with AMSUN and its constitution for a very long time. There was a time when there was a constitution that was promulgated long time, I think 3 years ago, but it was recalled for some reasons. What are you going to do? And now, what are you going to do to ensure that the constitution is not butchered? Take, for example, during this election period, there was a clause that was very problematic to even the election committee. How are you going to ensure that going into the future, the constitution of AMSUN is upheld? Not just upheld, but we get a new constitution which is a legal binding document, apart from these pieces of papers we read here as the constitution. Thank you.
Mogoko Marabu level 6. First one to Wandera. We share a mother with Ignatius, so we'll talk about the conflict of interest. Personal merchandise versus AMSUN merchandise. AMSUN is underfunded, actually not funded by the school. We have a chance to gain money from AMSUN activities and merchandise, but we're running one of them. I'll give you an instance. The books, the stethoscopes, the lab coats. Is there a way in which you can ensure that AMSUN makes money from those merchandise versus your need to be a prominent businessman now that you have a better platform to run your personal business? And then to Jebelo, what is the primary cause of mental health issues in preclinical areas and what do you intend to do about it?
Thank you. My question is to Wandera. I'm reading Article 9 of the purported AMSUN Constitution. And what is the definition of accountability in terms of finances? And also, if you look at the subsection A, sources of finances for AMSUN, it lists registration of members of the association. What is your interpretation of that particular section?
My name is Shikwati, and my question is directed to the SG. You said earlier that you're going to fight for us, you're going to get sacrificed for us. So I have this question for you. I know at one point you've gone to maybe the Associate Dean's office or the Dean's office, and you've seen how much that place can frustrate you when you have a problem. And you've said, so my question is, how are you going to ensure that there's individualized support so that each and every student who has a problem gets help? Because I have a friend who was supposed to do a special exam, but he was taken through hepatobiliary circulation. Until he lost hope, and now he has to do a retake. Thank you.
So it's a comment rather than a question to Wandera. As the treasurer, you have not spoken on financial literacy among medical students. I had it with the organizing secretary Aspirants. So maybe you can take this to be one of your manifesto to promote financial literacy among medical students, because it's not all about books. We'd love to know how we manage our money and what to do with it. So my first starting point would be medical students who are financially literate within the campus. Then you can start looking for partnering with institutions like pre-term or banks in general. Thank you.
Sorry. Ambia uko na dakika tatu.
Allow me to start with my brother.
Odira, just a minute. Before you start, each contestant has 3 minutes to answer the respective questions. So please keep time. UNITA will be coordinating the time. So, fanya kazi naye. Thank you.
Allow me to start with my brother Victor. Chikwati, thanks for bringing this wonderful question. And this is one of the most pertinent issues that we always face when end of year pass lists come. I can't promise that I'll solve every problem, but I'll be there. I'll be butchered in those offices. I've faced a lot of intimidation and rejection in my life, and I'll go there. Order, please. We don't have time, please. Order. I'm very sorry your friend went through hepatobiliary circulation. It's so unfortunate. So one thing, as a leader, it's important to be there, to stand with them, and to make sure those issues are aired to the admin. Issues with missing marks, issues with people missing on pass lists mysteriously. We shouldn't just disappear to single meeting. So I'll personally be there. We saw a point back then when G2 visited those offices a couple of times, several times, with no missing results. But in the long run, 2 new pass lists were released, and there people were given mysterious missing marks and retakes. Over 50 comrades were added to the pass list. You know what that means? A lot of fees saved, a lot of mental health, because it's really stressing to be in that situation. So I've personally stood with people before in that, and now with my role as the SG, it gives me more power, because if I go and introduce myself in those offices as the SG and keep on pushing for that, I believe it's doable. The second part, my friend IG. IG, you served as the Secretary General of AMSUN, right? The question you are bringing is also very pertinent. Before you served as Secretary General, I served in the subcommittee of AMSUN Constitution. G2 promulgated the Constitution. We tried our very best, and we tried registering AMSUN with the Registrar of Societies, because for our Constitution to be legal, we have to register it with the Registrar of Societies. And this has been tried many times with failure. And I'm here to tell you, I'll try that again. And we know that there are people who are blocking the registration of AMSUN with the Registrar of Societies. So we will try the very best in that. I'm told my time is over. We'll address that with you more and more as we engage on the ground. Yes, thank you.
Thank you so much for the questions. There are quite a number, four if I'm not wrong, or rather from 4 people. So let's start from here. The issue of white coat ceremony. Yeah, it is an issue that needs to be dealt with. I personally didn't attend my white coat ceremony because of the same reason in first year. So I promise here before you that it will depend with the financial situation of that time. I promise to solicit funds and get sponsors. So what sponsors look for is the audience. So, and also need to say this, that kindly, if you organize events, it is you people to come so that they can see they're getting return, or they're getting like audience. So it's a collective responsibility that if our members support our activities, the one we have, because I can just answer it together with Rono's question. The financial literacy thing, it is one of my manifestos. Just that time, I didn't get time to talk of it. But we can have a very good program to enhance financial literacy. But if people don't come here for such events, we won't get sponsors. So I will work with my other members for the committee so that for the organizing secretary, they can have a good mobilization strategy. So yeah, I can promise we will solicit for funds, and if God willing, we get enough funds to hold a white coat ceremony without the students paying for it, then we will do it. And we will have to agree with the executive. So it's not me to decide, but I promise I will advocate for that. Next question, I think I've answered Rono. So what I intend to do with the financial literacy is not all of us are looking for ways to make money, but also to invest. So you'll extend that to investment opportunities for those who already have money looking for investment. And then a very important question on a conflict of interest. So I want to say here that our company isn't the only company, student-led company, that does business in school. So currently we're not a monopoly, and I don't intend to make our organization a monopoly when I get to office. We will continue with what we've been doing, protecting AMSUN, and AMSUN has a tax shop. I won't put my tax shop next to AMSUN's tax shop. Yeah, so you can be sure that I don't intend to monopolize our business or anything. And then when it comes to entrepreneurial creativity, that one I can assure you that I'm creative. So actually I'm going to increase revenue or rather income sources for AMSUN. Yeah. So what I understand, allow me to answer Governor. What I understand by accountability is that allocating funds for the right purpose, and also like consulting funds with the executive and what the students also want. So I won't allocate funds the way I want, and then I will be be open to be held responsible. So through the reports I will be submitting, and also at the end of it, remember what for we are, I might come here to ask you to elect me for something else. So I need to build a legacy, and yeah, so your finances are in safe hands. So thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Mogoko, for that question. Okay, I take answering questions from intellectuals as a hobby, and here I am at it again. Of course, we know some of these causes of mental health among the students, not just in the preclinical years, but also in the clinical years as well. The major cause, the cause number one, is academics. Yeah, I agree. We also have these other causes. Like my brother here was complaining about rejections, and we also have financial droughts. Yeah, where comrades lack money. So those can be causes of mental health, right? But the major one, we can all agree, has something to do with academics. I think all of us have experienced how in the last academic year, our results were delayed. But just to share a bit about my experience, I almost died. I was a victim of mental health. You can anxiety, you can imagine the uncertainty. So if we get in office, we'll try as much as possible to address these issues. Academics is the elephant in the room. Academics. We have other courses, but academics is number one. Yeah. Thank you so much for that. I think talking there, I've mentioned about organizing those peer-to-peer mentorship programs. I think it's just a good thing whereby senior students can come interact with junior students, at least to cut off the monotony of just interacting with the books. At least have an event out in the open, have some music, have some fun, whereby students can enjoy themselves and also get to learn from senior students. Yes, I think we can kill two birds with one stone in this case. Thank you.
Thank you so much for the post of SecGen. I think the preclinical representative and the treasurer, we've loved hearing your insights on the matter. Maybe I'd have loved to hear the SecGen, your thoughts on the delays of results, but term yako imeisha, Mrs. Student, so utaongea hiyo na your students later. Now we go further on to the reports of Vice Chair, and we follow the same rule. So comrades, kabla hiyo 3 minutes per candidate, 5 minutes for questions later. Sawa, karibuni.
Sorry, yao ilikuwa 3 minutes, yao ilikuwa 4 minutes. Yes.
Hi. So we'll start with Sibia and then followed closely by Sean. You'll have 4 minutes to your time, and then 5 minutes collective for the Q&A. Sawa. The floor is yours, Sibia.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Jane Zebra. I'm a fifth-year medical student, and I'm happy to be here to present my manifesto and vision for AMSUN 2025-2026. My vision for AMSUN is about elevating the medical school experience and empowering every one of us to be the best professionals who can be out there. And the mandate of a vice chairperson is to take care of everything academic, take care of your training, skills training, and the AMSUN Scientific Conference. So the journey in medical school is very long and tedious, and it requires a certain level of endurance and resilience as we seek a pursuit for knowledge. Now, in the University of Nairobi, we tend to face a number of challenges that come in silos. For example, in academics, we have one of the biggest issues being missing marks, delayed results, and for some people, being deregistered unfairly from the program. Now for this, I'd like to introduce an academic committee that can have representatives from every year doing continuous audits and taking reports from every year to keep them accountable and to follow up on this result after every exam. Another thing is I've had the time to interact with some ideas and fourth years, and there seems to be a gap from the transition from preclinical years to clinical years, and that's another place where we need to put in some more effort to introduce some intentional guidance, some intentional workshops and training so that they are more accustomed to the environment here. And another thing is that this issue does not just affect the third years and fourth years, it transcends to many of the years from first year to sixth year. We need a more robust peer-to-peer mentorship program. Think of it this way: a sixth year mentored a fifth year, a fourth year, and so on and so forth. And this is something that we can do even in cohorts to make sure it's properly audited and that it's taken into account year by year. The AMSUN Scientific Conference, a yearly event hosted by AMSUN committee that is a platform to showcase our scientific prowess to the world. Now, some of the main issues facing this is finances. This takes quite a huge load for a successful AMSUN Scientific Conference to be held. And this has affected the quality of events year by year because we don't have sustainable sponsors for the same. And that is something that I'd like to work on. We need to assess the quid pro quo that we're going to have with some of our sponsors. What are we offering them in return so that we can get the sponsorship that we need to host these events? And this goes on even into skills lab training. I think 6 years only have one session of training for basic surgical skills and trauma evaluation. Something that I believe should be available more continuously throughout the years and not just 6th year, as early as even 4th year when we get into the surgical rotation. That is something I'd also like to put some more effort into so that we have continuous sponsorship and collaboration with some of these organizations that plan these events. Now lastly is innovation and research. That's another area that we need to work on. It's what pushes medicine and science forward. It's a cornerstone of any scientific discovery. We need a stronger research and innovation lab within the school. We need more awareness that we can actually get this done, that we can actually have an idea and take it from zero to publication or zero to being a registered company. So I me, I listen, I act, and I deliver. I'd like to talk a bit more, but my time is up, and maybe we'll discuss more during the Q&A session. Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Sean Asongo Mundi, running for the position of Vice Chair. And I'm honored to be before AMSUN because the preamble of the Constitution is very clear. You are AMSUN, and I am here to serve you. And how will I serve you? It is clear. Our first agenda is ensuring we improve the quality of our medical education. We know that right now, as we speak, we are not getting value for our money. We are not getting value for our money. It's very clear. It costs the government $500,000 every year to train a doctor. Money that comes from your pockets, from your parents' pockets, from your sponsors' pockets. So how do I intend to work on it? I intend to work on it by having an audit for the lectures, because we know that it is our right, protected by the Bill of Rights, Chapter 4 of the Kenyan Constitution, to get access to education. It is further enforced under the Code of Conduct and Ethics for Public Universities that the University of Nairobi is a signatory, that the academic staff must conduct themselves in a manner befitting of the charter that they are signatories to. And I intend to organize with the various representatives across the various years to have weekly audits, weekly memos, because once we weaponize bureaucracy against the bureaucrats, where is this lecturer? Is this lecturer on leave? Because once again, Section 6 of their very conduct of ethics, Section 6 of their very staff handbook is more than clear about how they should miss duty. So I intend to follow up. We weaponize bureaucracy. Most of the time when they miss, we are told, where is the evidence? Another issue is we have the issue of research, as my opponent has so dearly mentioned. As a researcher myself, I can tell you that the key issue is funding. It is funding. It is partners. It is partners. I currently have 2 articles on Prospero on review. And I can tell you, to get the literature, I had to use dubious methods like Sci-Hub, putting my computer and data at risk to get these papers. How can we secure funding? It is quite simple. Various organizations have been established within the University of Nairobi. And it is within the University of Nairobi's charter, as per 2013, revised 2018. We are clear that they are to promote research excellence among students. And those students are not postgraduates, they are all students. So why do we keep the pay rates for the postgraduates? Why don't we bring them here? Why don't we bring them for all of us? When we look at the issue of digital peer education programs, that's one thing I want to introduce, because I have been a beneficiary, and I know for sure some of my students, including Manu, are here, and people I taught when they're in first year, now in second year human anatomy. And when you look at the impact that it has, people looking at each other teaching. If you look at the impact organizations like Mastermind has had, teaching our fellow students. Why don't we put this on platforms like eClass? Why don't we have those physical exam videos? Because the guidelines are there. There must be guidelines for the teaching of the physical exams. They're just too lazy to tell you that this is what you're supposed to do. So we end up having those ways. In conclusion, that this is Josh's ways, but this is the way. And why don't we have these videos in a place like eClass? And that is something I intend to work on. That is something I have worked on an individual level. So thank you so much. We will engage more in the Q&A.
Those were powerful insights. We move quickly to We move quickly to the Q&A session. The mic will be passing around. So keep your questions brief. Ndio pia. Thank you.
Good evening, and I'm Navid Matia. I'm just here to ask a question. This is directed to CBN. You said that you'll look for sponsors for those events, and let me just confirm. Research and innovation, you say that the problem is sponsorship
We would like to know exactly where we are going to get those sponsors. And you said that you listen and deliver. We want to see your history. Where did you listen and deliver? You know, we want to speak for facts. There's no point for casting lots here. We want facts right now. And we are damn serious about that. Thank you.
Oh, before we go on, this is an official position. So please keep your language official and formal. Tafadhali. So don't curse, don't be vulgar. Tafadhali. Sawa sawa. This is an official thing that you're doing. So let's keep it official. Sawa, tujeshim. Tafadhali.
Good evening, everyone. I have only time for one only. Why did you vie for chair?
So my question goes to Sean. You mentioned that our education is subpar, which I agree with that. So how do you plan to hold these lecturers that teach us accountable?
Unita. So my question is to Sylvia. We know you run a business, an events business to be precise. How do we know that you aren't running for the seat just so you can enrich yourself? My question was to Sylvia. We all know that she runs an events planning business. And my question simply is, how do we know she isn't running this for the seat just so she can enrich herself?
My question goes to Sean. You mentioned one of the ways you're planning to hold the lecturers accountable would be with audits, and you mentioned there'd be like weekly audits. But my question would be, essentially recognizing bureaucracy, the people that are in charge of the bureaucracy are the lecturers themselves. So are the lecturers supposed to snitch on their own colleagues, or rather, who will be holding these audits? What is the mechanism to be holding these audits, and when can we expect results from these audits, and what are the possible consequences to these lecturers if they are found subpar? Thank you.
My question is to Sean. You said that you're going to follow up with weekly audit with the various representatives, which is fine. I myself was the outgoing clinical rep. I tried, it failed miserably. So, as my dear friend has said up there, the bureaucracy that you're talking about is the lecturers. The lecturers will cover for themselves. How are you going to maneuver your way through that? Because if there's one thing I know is that they're going to defend themselves and they won't look at you. So I'd like to know how. Thanks.
Any more questions? Kuna mtu tumeacha nje? Anyone? Haya. So we'll start. Jane, I think you'll be first.
You'll have 4 minutes to answer your question.
Hello once again. So I'll start with the first question regarding the sponsors. So the main question isn't where we're going to get the sponsors, but how can we maintain them? Every year, every event, the AMSUN committee and any volunteers involved with gathering these funds do manage to get the institutions. There's a lot of companies that have CSR, that's a given. But how do we maintain them so that we have the same quality of events every single year and actually improve? We should be on an upward trend. So here's where I love the whole AMSUN fraternity to be involved. We have a lot of creativity on our hands, capability, time, and the main goal of any company is to get their product out there. And if you guys are aware of like Rebel's marketing scheme, they actually use the people attending the events to help advertise their product at no cost to themselves, but they have sponsored the event. So the same thing we can do here. When we have an event, we can have some creative ways to actually channel content towards their pages so that they can move their product. Number two, something like the AMSUN Scientific Conference. We can partner with some of the residents within our institution that they attend this event with us. I'm sure that can leverage some pharmaceutical companies to want to join us because they know that there's the doctors in there and they can give them the products to market when they go to the various hospitals and clinics. We have to find a way to actually sustain. So it's not a matter of where we get the sponsors, but how we keep them. Number two was, where did I listen and where did I deliver? Maybe I can add, where did I act? So where did I listen? As my classmates have mentioned, I am an event planner. That means working with people on very different occasions, some on the best days, some on the worst days, some the funeral, others the wedding, different cultures. And in all of these aspects, you have to listen to what they're telling you, conveying the emotions in very different ways, very different actions to show you what they want. And in all of this, I have delivered. That's why there's continuity in my business as well. And where did I act? Well, I had an idea to start a company, now I'm CEO. I had another idea to start a medical innovation, telemedicine, medical space. Some of you have heard of it, maybe others haven't. And I acted. Event planning. I'm not vying for this role to push my agenda in business. I am affiliated to the company, but it's an entity of its own. That means whatever contract it solicits are beyond me. It's not just me to get them. AMSUN is an organization run by the students, it has its own constitution, and it will get contracts based on the reliability of the vendors. So that is not a question on why I'm vying for this role. I'm vying for this role because of all the agenda I've listed on my manifesto. Thank you.
Good evening. So thank you for those questions. They are really engaging. So one of the questions that stood clearly is, how are we going to hold the lecturers accountable? So I'm going to give it to you, TN. One thing the bureaucrats hate is a paper trail. Because eventually, a paper trail is weaponized in court in the event anything should go wrong. Ogega PKSL 2018 is president. And we know laws and rulings in Kenya within institutions governed by the Universities Act. It is a public institution. So we know that as per the contents of Ogega PKSL, that it is unequivocally clear that if documentation is issued by the student body, and I tested this because I don't speak in abstract. I don't speak in abstract. This year, as 6 years, we had problems with the Department of Obstetrics and Gynecology. I raised that issue with the Department of Obstetrics and Gynecology by a memo, CC to the Associate Dean, CC to the Dean, CC to the BBC Academic Affairs. And that memo was responded to timely. I had lecturers now calling me, telling me when to set up these classes, because they are aware of the ruling. They were made aware. So to answer that question directly, we have a form by your class reps. I know the clinical letter stated that he tried alone. We have the memo issue. We have the form filled by your class reps on why the lecturer has missed. Did he answer his call? How many times did you try to call? Did you also try texting? We generate a worded memo. I personally walk into the departments with you. And once you have it there, there is a paper trail. Because often when students go to the office of the associate dean and they are told one thing, and you weren't taught, that's what we were told when my idea in pathology came for us, and our older brother here, Ignatius, helped defend us. That's what we were told. Where is the memo that you weren't taught? And once you realize that once the memo is there, and whatever happens, that exam, as per Ogega VKSL, please note that something. Ogega VKSL, that exam containing content that you are not taught is in violation of the code of ethics issued to public universities. It is against the University of Nairobi Charter to be a center of excellence defined by this essence. And once that exam is against these core principles of law, both natural and otherwise, that examination becomes null and yes. So somebody had asked about who is this holding the lecturers accountable. It is us, because the very lecturers, they audit your attendance. The lecturers audit your attendance. So we are supposed to audit them. When I was a first year medical student, we had a form going around for all the units. That form disappeared somewhere, I don't know. The satisfaction of each and every of the units. Because we are supposed to audit them as well. It is our right. How do we assess quality of education if there is learning for us without us? There can be no learning for us without us. We must strengthen our AMSUN so that there is learning, there can't be learning for us without us. Our elders, Governor Ribu, our brother, Sergeant Farah, Sergeant Osike, showed us the way that if we agitate for our rights, once we agitate for our rights, fear is a concept.
I think it's proper talking. Making a comment that make is that I am an addicted, I'm an avid researcher. I now research too much. Polish to be mentioned, or just the Polish to be mentioned in passing, especially by the post of vice chair. So I don't know, the incoming vice chair, but please, research researching, you know. So I know classes are also important. I think research is also important. So nyinyi kuipitia tu hivyo, it's your dog, ndio, it's a bit hard. Sasa, haya, now we go to the subject matter of the day. We welcome. A bit of housekeeping, a bit of housekeeping. Each candidate will have 5 minutes. Housekeeping group, kindly. Each candidate will have 5 minutes to present their manifesto. Then we will follow it up with a Q&A question. Welcome.
Welcome to the stage. Are you ready? Your time starts now.
Ladies and gentlemen, good evening. My name is Joel Masiaka, and I'm in 6th year. And I seek the privilege and the honor to serve you as your AMSUN chairperson. I was looking at this guy, and I remember some time back when I used to stand and do the same thing, live stream AMSUN events. And people would watch them on YouTube, edit them, and share them on YouTube. And what I'm trying to say is that the desire to serve as AMSUN chair has come from the interest of being involved in student activities, right from year 2 actually. Year 1 was not so active. So year 2, any opportunity that I got to serve, I took it with big pleasure. I remember spending hours late into the night designing posters for different events, including the LNMP. I remember some time back when, it was not Ruby that time, who was the rest director. Was it Lynn and Peter, I think, reaching out and telling me, hey bro, kuna mtu alikuwa to design the proposal ya LNMP, like the write-up was done, but it needed to be designed. And hey bro, I cannot get anyone. Could you please do that? I know it's a short notice, but I would appreciate. And it was an honor. I remember doing it almost the whole night and presenting it to him. So the little opportunities that I have had to serve the medical community have been a privilege, and I have done that to the best of my ability. But also from doing that, I have observed so many gaps that I think that if we fix them, then we're going to have a more vibrant and a better working institution, that is AMSUN. One of the reasons why I stopped doing the streaming is because we have no camera, for instance. Now, it's not within my docket as chair to buy a camera for the institution. That would really be the publicity secretary. But when she brings up that idea, that chair, and we as a committee, maybe through our alumni or through the little funds that we have as an institution, can we buy a camera so that if someone they've come late from maybe their wards, at the comfort of their home, they can be able to follow the events. So I present to you a proposal on some of the things that we can change, some of the things that we can do as an institution to actually make a better community. I have learned to be an empathetic listener, and I think that as the AMSUN executive, if we can listen, if we can spread that down even to the class level and listen empathetically, observe within our community what are the needs of our people and wholly advocate for them. I have seen that if we can engage the administration at 2 levels, advocacy first, sit down with them, do dialogue, negotiations, and all that. And if they fail, we can invoke the second level of engagement, and that is principal activism. Because when we go to them, they must take us seriously, right? And if they don't, then we have, more than 2,000 students. I have learned that most of the time the attention is on the chair, but have you thought about a situation where we diffuse that pressure to every leader within the AMSUN community, whether you're a class representative, whether you're a subcommittee representative, or whether, like in that lead capacity that you're serving the students, if the executive was to offer capacity building for you, for instance, class representatives, if they are trained on maybe negotiation, because every time they go to engage the dean or the associate dean, it's a negotiation, and woe unto you as a class if your class rep is a poor negotiator. It means the results will always be, they'll never be in your favor. I also learned that instead of the AMSUN executive doing everything, my friend Kirol describes med school as an ecosystem of coexistence, We have different clubs, different societies, and all that, right? An AMSUN chair as a coordinator should be able to coordinate the executive team, but also looking at the advantage that we have with all these clubs and societies so that they get to have a bigger reach and a mandate. The other thing that I'm big on is mentorship. At a personal level, I've been going around, doing for the past years. I've gone to so many schools just talking to them And even within med school, if you remember the Young Doctors Cafe, which was later adopted as the AMSUN Career Series, and just the impact that it had on medical students. That is one of the things that I would want to bring back. With mentorship on a focus on things like academic excellence, career and professional life, mental health and well-being, leadership, business and entrepreneurship, health tech and research, and financial literacy as was talked about. And lastly, talking about research, health tech and innovation, but we spend a lot of time learning science. The question is, how can this science find application in the real world? Myself, I'm a techie. I have done programming and have taken part in different initiatives. I've learned under the UN Research Club, and I see the good work that it's doing. And AMSUN supported to support more students get into research. I was part of the different, the Innovation Lab. Eventually, it didn't do so well, but it's something that we need to revisit. But being part of, working behind brilliant minds like Wechuli, if you knew Wechuli, Victor Barasa, and those are I bring that wealth of experience from them that we can actually build a student-driven, innovation lab. Because of time, I'll stop there, and I welcome any questions. I understand guidance.
Second aspirant to present the
my name is Ulo Solomon Gamachu. So I'm a 6th-year medical student. Over the past several years, that I count is around 7 years in this school. I have lived the experiences. I have seen the challenges, how it has taken toll on each student at individual level. And I believe our association, being that one that's mandated with the welfare of each student, can do something about this. My desire to lead comes from a compassionate desire to serve you guys. And let me tell you, I've seen how the missing marks, the long holidays, and all the turmoil of medical school life has taken on students, either financially, emotionally, and academically. So, in my 3-point agenda, which is pillared on advocacy, enhancement, and engaging you guys at any level. So, my manifesto talks about 3 pillars, that is advocate. So our representation as students within the association is not just a duty, it is a responsibility to defend and uplift each student's interest. So safeguard this, we will do by safeguarding academic progression of each student. And we will champion for assessment transparency. And for our 5th years, we know that there is a gap. So we have to stabilize our academic calendar, whereby we advocate for early resumption of classes. So the overall of this all will do away with the gap that I'm sure of. And then we have to strengthen AMSUN capacity by mobilizing resources to fund all our projects. There are several projects, but they are struggling. The main aim, the country being finances. Everybody has spoken about it. Me as the chief executive, I have to see through it. And how will we enhance? We'll enhance our academia and we will improve our student experience by enhancing and coordination of programs, academic events, mentorship initiatives, and wellness initiatives also. So as the CEO of AMSUN, being the chairperson, I will enhance smooth day-to-day operation within the association with competent leadership and strict accountability. Also, for those who got into the offices and opposed, that doesn't mean that they are not competent, but we will work with them and push for a competent-based leadership. And on to engaging. As I was politicking for the past 2 weeks, I have engaged with the first year and I've seen what it takes. They have a culture down there they call Jay-Z Day. And you could just see what it does to them. They come, with their Jay-Z's to lecture. Back then when I was in first year, I knew of addressing culture, how a doctor should dress. It is in the student rules and regulations. As a doctor, you have to be official. But seeing them coming to class in a Jay-Z means they've started a culture and they're engaging among themselves. You see? So they are at least decluttering on how tough first year could be for anyone. So we will continue engaging and we will bridge the gap between those in Chiromo and those in KNH. Because I believe one day when I said I was in med school, I was asked, "Hey guy, are you in Chiromo?" So they know that is the preclinicals. So I told them I was in KNH, clinical. We have to bridge the gap between the preclinicals and clinical years. And as they transition to their clinical years, we should guide them in their work so that they don't find themselves lost. So as the Chief Executive Officer of AMSUN, when you guys elect me, kindly, tomorrow, we will undertake all this and fix the gaps that we have identified. Kindly, tomorrow, the 5th of December, as we enter our festive season, kindly vote Gamakulo for AMSUN chairperson. Thank you.
Thanks for that. So we'll now proceed to the final chairperson aspirants.
Yeah, so because of time, just start. My name is Ezra Obama. I'm a level 6 student. I'm a Python programmer, I'm a data scientist. I'm a medical student. I'm a member of AMSUN, and I'm a photographer and videographer. So one thing is that I don't know why people are reading the manifestos to you. I don't know if they've internalized them. So I just want to give you my 7-point agenda. So number one, we have something called AMSUN iLabs. You heard my friend here talking about Afya Innovation Lab. Now, one of the problems with naming it Afya in the first place was that it benefits someone else. So I'm naming it AMSUN Innovation Lab so that when I leave 6th year, somebody doesn't come and tell me that you started a business with something that was meant for AMSUN. So in this AMSUN iLab, I tend to have hackathons, I tend to have these sessions where we can be able to, you see, for our innovation lab, the problem we have in this school is that people have innovation, but they don't have a connection with each other. So I want us to form an innovation lab, and somebody talked about having timelines. March next year, 2026. I tend to have that on ground. Then secondly, we have something I call the student academic rights. Now my friend there, Cyrus, has been castigating me on how I can be able to do that. Now, if you Google something we call an SQL, which is a relational database, we can be able to have something we call a structured query language. So if you have a structured query language, you can be able to flag off missing marks, you can be able to flag off delayed marks, you can be able to have, how does Spotify, which has over 1 billion subscribers, be able to know that you haven't paid them at the end of the month? Okay, actually, your campaigns in our but the point is, they still know that you haven't paid them. It means there's something called a NaN, which is not a number, it's a missing value. If you include that, we still have archaic methods of having our marks being entered. If we say we're still using Excel, why don't you use Power Query? Why don't you be able to use Power BI? So dashboards can be able to tell us which lecturer is this that is giving us this in marks. And then thirdly, we have international students in this school, and I plan to have a representation committee for them. We are not only Kenyans in this school. We have so many international students in our school, and I plan to have representation, a seat for them at the table, and I plan for them to have just orientation. Where can they live? Where can they be able to get a student pass? I had the external affairs committee secretary talking. That's something we can be able to liaise together. So now, point number 4, revenue streams. We can be able to have an identity as AMSUN, where we have something called the AMSUN Apparels. Again, I'm naming it after AMSUN so that you don't say that once you've left with our apparels. So AMSUN Apparels is just basically a way of having, if you look at universities like Stanford University, Yale University, Cambridge University, you see that they have an identity. You see that they have college jackets, you see that they have sweatshirts. If you Google right now for University of Cape Town, you'll see that they have this merchandise that we are able to have. 5th point is that we don't have a website. How comes we don't have a website as AMSUN? We brand ourselves as the biggest body, we brand ourselves as this. That's something that we can be able to take care with as the AMSUN Innovation Lab. My 6th point is on AMSUN Charity Foundation. I'm trying for us to have like a streamline. If let's say right now we don't have the lead of the big behind plan coming up, what if we say that we still have like a 21-day challenge? When we were in second year, we used to have a 50-day challenge for 21 days. You see, so charity is all about, when people come to us with problems, they come to us with problems here, like month in, month out. It's not only in November that we can be able to have that problem. So those were my 7 points, and thank you so much.
Session.
Good evening, gentlemen. It was a pleasure to hear all your points as what you do as chairman. My question goes to all 3 of you. From doing a random survey of the students in this campus, KNH, most of them have heard of AMSUN as an abstract idea. So they know it exists, but they don't know what it does. They don't know what activities it organizes. They just know things happen. I think it was Joel who mentioned that you know the weight that the chairman faces as the head of the organization. And I agree, it is true, you are the face of AMSUN. So my question is, as the face of AMSUN, how will you make your impact felt? How will people know that this is a chairman of the people? This is someone who cares about the students as the head of the student body. Just as a point of reference for my questioning, the last AMSUN chair that was memorable, that was making an impact, that was involved with the running
live. I say only win on my page, and generally win on my page. I say it's more digital oriented, generally it's more people centered. Those ideas blend together, we have a better AMSUN. Same to other positions.
Good evening. The question goes to Joel. From the preamble of the manifesto, you speak about apathy for the members of AMSUN, stating that it is due to frustration in AMSUN leadership. So, if my memory serves me right, you've been in AMSUN before, and you've been a leader of AMSUN. So, I just want to know how can you convince the electorate today that you were once in an AMSUN leadership position, and right now you still want to stick the same AMSUN position and inspire change? The second question to you, in your campaign messages, you have flaunted that you are our class rep, of which I agree and I appreciate. You promised the electorate that you are going to deliver timely results, fast, efficient resolution of student challenges across all departments for every medical student. I think we are one of the underprivileged nurses as year 6. We have faced all these problems under your leadership. So how do we so how do we put you on account that these things will be met in your tenure? Number 3. You have 1 year as a chair for AMSUN, right? Your manifesto is filled with a lot of big words. I was reading yesterday, I was seeing a lot of we will advocate, we will ensure, okay, just to cut the long story short, it's impossible for us to quantify or keep into account of how you will do these things and what specific period of time you intend to do these things. And my last question before I move to Paulo. So my last question, I have been having a problem with understanding a clause of the Article 6 of the Elections Commission, and I just want to leave it up and get your view on it. So the question to you is, 1, do you think you have gone against any clauses that the AMSUN Constitution has stipulated? If yes, why? If no, I want to direct you to a clause in Article 6. Says the elections regularity, that only members without any other elective, that were elective, appointed positions in the school, that is UNSA or class representation, shall mandatory eligible for elections. So how do we then trust you to safeguard this constitution that, in my own opinion, you have violated? Thank you. Oh, okay. Gamacho. To Gamacho, I have already this one question. I was going through your manifesto yesterday night, and I think you did it in a rush. I was just trying to find where to step on as I asked you a question, but I couldn't get a bearing because it's just advocate. I am going to implement what? Advocate for what? I think a good manifesto must have timelines, must have goals of what you want to achieve as a chair. There are things that you can't just say as blanket statements. If we put manifestos that you presented to us in a chat GPT, we come out with a result of over 80% AI generated because it does not interact with the problems the students are facing. So we would like you as the chair to explain to us what you're advocating, what you're improving, what you're enhancing. Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Shem Negeriga, a 6th-year medical student. So I will start with a question for all chairs. I have read all 3 manifestos. Some have put solutions, which is okay, but no one has told me what are the challenges they expect in the implementation of their plans. So for each and every chair, please tell us the challenges that you will face in the implementation of your plan. Hi. To Joel, I have read your manifesto. Quite lengthy, but no. Something. But it is well known amongst the members of this association that is currently not doing well Like the whole thing I've heard from all the chairs is AMSUN is on its last leg. AMSUN is on its last leg, not doing well financially. It's okay. In your manifesto, I have seen a lot of ideas and promises, which is okay, but no mention of an elaborate plan that will generate income. So I've just seen partnerships, this, stakeholders. I want to know now when the stakeholders step aside, because we've had stakeholders all this time. Our conference is sponsored by people out there, but they come and they go. So we want to know, how are we going to generate money as AMSUN? Alright. In your manifesto, yes, okay, raka. In your manifesto, in the interest of time, but again, I believe that this is an association of the people, by the people, for the people. In your manifesto, you say that you'll ensure every medical student will experience respectful, dignified lecture-student, staff-student relations, and professionalism at all levels. There's a subject on every platform, whether physical or social, that in med school it is a global issue where students are bullied by their lecturers, which happens. But you're telling us you will change it. So we want to know how. How will you walk to Macligero and tell him to stop telling us we have not taken breakfast? How?
Hi everyone, my name is Julie. I'm a 6th year med student. My question is to Joel. You had previously held a position as an AMSUN External Affairs Secretary. So as per your third role from the said constitution, we are currently talking about AMSUN not having any money, which as an External Affairs Secretary, you are supposed to outsource finances from outside organizations. So if you did this, calm down, everybody, calm down, Savannah. So if you did this and are still here, why is it a current problem? That's my question.
My name is student Dr. University level 6. My question is to all the 3 aspirants running for chair. As a leader myself, you guys have pretty lengthy manifestos. I just want one thing that when it reaches next year, I can hold you guys accountable. Out of the manifestos, one thing that you're saying this thing, I'll die with this thing. Because when Kulo was talking, as a leader, you have to see where you're leading your people. If you haven't seen, there's no way you're leading your people. He was very generic, just to save time from what Shem was saying. It was advocate, ensure, no specific direction. How are you going to lead people to Canaan and you've not even seen it? Yeah, so just I want you all to tell me one thing you're willing to do. You're saying this thing, I'm going to hold on to it, and I'm going to give you guys this thing as chair. Yeah, thank you.
Good evening. My name is Cyrus from year 6. So, the first question is to Kulo. I think you are well aware about the current medical situation in the country, and so far, the conversation around AMSUN has been that the chair should play a big role in terms of fostering other, research, IT, business. I don't think you mentioned any of those, so I think I would like more details of what you're planning to do. And also, how are you going to leverage the existing platforms? We have the AMSUN business, we have the Afro Innovation Hub, and all those things. So how are you going to keep that continuing if you're voted in? Next question is now both Isaiah and Kulo. So we are 6 years. So we know you. We know your conduct. We have been together all these many years. So as someone rightfully mentioned, we have gone through a lot of challenges. I've been class rep in year 4 and year 5, you know. We have been there with the Kinamogoko in the groups debating. So, where have you been? You know? Where? Like, give up, you know, AMSUN has been here, you've been here since year 1, you know. Tell us a subcommittee you've served in, a solution you've given, and how can you suddenly come up and give us solutions? So far the answer I've been given by your team is that elections are open to every student. You know, I had the right to buy. They are, yes, but I want a better answer. You know, what have you done? What is your experience that backs up your ability to sort of implement the things you put in your manifesto? Thank you.
Before we go to the next question, I think this show has had like, what, 20 questions? Hapana, msikize, tafadhali. You'll still ask your questions, but we have to have a memorandum of association here. So, tafadhali, keep your questions a bit brief and summarize. And then also the other roles, his side and your side, please ask your questions. We can't have questions just coming from one room. Kindly.
Good evening. So I have 2 questions. We keep talking about fund mobilization, SG, whatever. My first question in that regard is, as a chairman, do you understand your role in forming a signatory account? Number 2, do you understand what it takes to form a signatory account? And in relation to that question, I have not had any deliberation on what you're doing about our constitution. Because one of the challenges that we have about this AMSUN body is that our constitution has not been made official. And I don't know if you guys know about it, but without it, anything that we tend to do, from signatories to the account, because you need at least 2 to 3 people. And without that, anything you're saying is hot air. So without the activation of the process to actually promulgate, implement a constitution, and present it to the relevant banking authorities as a corporation, anything you're talking about funds is a lie. So I want to know, what are you wanting to actually do? Not planning to. What have you actually deliberated to actually sort that out? My other question, transition. Everyone has talked about CG, what they're going to do. But one thing we keep having as a problem is the fact that by the time we're coming in, the next class is coming for their new year, there's a gap in the chairmanship position. A gap that ideally should be addressed, but because of the vagueness of the overlap of the roles of the chairperson and the first vice chairperson has not been adequately implemented. So as a chair, what are you planning to do to make sure that either by the time you are walking into the next year or into your next transition of life, whatever it may be, there is an active body that is able to represent the students in your absentia? And what length are you willing to go to make that a reality? And I'm talking about actionable points, not we will, we shall. Actionable points. Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Cynthia, and I'm also in 6 p.m. And I have one question. My friend mentioned about the last notable chair was in the days of Intusi, and I can recall that time Joe was the external affairs coordinator. But other than that, besides that, I think what we have been seeing throughout the years, from the days when we were in first year, Amir coming even to this particular point, our leadership has been characterized by staccato. Like, one leader comes in, they come and tell us something, they come and, we have promises each and every year. But I think the question is, you guys are speaking about a better AMSUN. So how then can you come in and bring structures and bring systems that are able to bring continuity? Something like, for example, what Adero is saying is true, because constitutions bind us and gives us culture and gives us continuity, so that we don't have a problem every time we address it. And that is one of the things, accountability. So what are you bringing to the table that that is going to give us a sustainable leadership, giving us structures, giving us continuity, such that when we have the next leadership, they know where to step and we know what questions to ask, what boundaries are they not supposed to go. This is the frame that they're given to work, so that we have measures of accountability, we have boundaries, and have something that works for the people. As Kabir has said, by the people, for the people, and the other one. Yes.
Good evening. My name is Ivan. Mine is probably the simplest question, and I'm sure everyone has thought about this. So, as the common Kenyan phrase goes, si wote ni watu wakubwa, tuambie tu ukweli. So, other than leaders, you're seeing also politicians. So, which one of you is ready to tell us the personal agendas they are seeking to achieve once they get this post?
My name is Jimmy Joroge, about 6. A lot of questions have been asked to the candidates. Thank you for your bravery sitting up there. My main question for you guys that you haven't mentioned, one of the responsibilities of the AMSUN president is to represent AMSUN on the national front in the Medical Students Association of Kenya. None of you has mentioned the policy. Is there a policy towards that front? I heard someone mentioning international students within the university, which is nice. But I'd like to know your policy from all 3 candidates with regards to the Medical Students Association of Kenya. Not enough people in our university have been knowing about it. Not enough people have been involved in their activities. What do you plan to do about it?
I have a question. So my name is Maruga, I'm in second year. First question goes to Gama. Gama, you said something about reducing the gap in 5th year. You said that. You said it? Yes, thank you. So you said that, and many of the people that have asked before approached me, the aspirants, and that's the question that I'm very curious to be answered, because it frustrates me as a medical student to have a gap in my, and after 4th year, where you just go home and you said you're going to reduce it. I want you to give me the practical steps. I want you to tell me why the other leaders have not been able to deliver it. Because I know some of the reasons that hinder that is because when we are having our rotations in 2 schools, in 2 hospitals, Kenyatta and Bagadi, I stand corrected on that. And for you to combine 2 classes of, let me say, 350 to 400 students, that is something that is impossible. Is it that you're intending to seek another hospital? I don't know if you're going to do that, but I want you to tell me how. Yes. Tell me how clearly. Another thing, Gamma, is that I'm reading your manifesto, and there's something you said about enhance. I don't see clarity in that point. First thing is that you said, and I'm reading it right now, enhancing the coordination of programs, academic events, mentorship, structures, and wellness initiatives. I don't see clarity. In that point, what are you going to do? I don't see any practical steps you've just mentioned. There's a lot of mentioning in your manifesto. There's no clear outline, which contradicts what you said about action. I don't think that action really, I'm not seeing it, so I'd like you to tell me. Another thing is, for Isaiah and Joel, I'd like to comment you on that aspect of the digital space. Personally, I saw in the manifesto of Masiaga, and there was a link to a YouTube video where he was teaching something on software engineering. That's commendable. Isaiah, it's also commendable that you're bringing that up. But Isaiah, I find a gap in your manifesto. It's that you're dwelling so much on the digital space. Remember, we're medical students. The first thing that brings us here is medicine. And before we explore the digital space, we want you to tell us how are we going to fulfill that basic thing that brought us here, that's our academic, that is medicine. Yes. And then now to I'm trying to shorten my questions. There was this thing about I like to channel this to Gamma Polo and Isaiah. So there was that thing about you have been in med school for 6 years, and there are some things that happened that you didn't like. 6 years can testify there have been problems. You should have been a leader even before you wanted to become the chairperson. I want you to tell me, in amidst the problems that were there, what did you do? Yes. And for you to come and want and to see a mistake in the constitution at such a time that would favor your candidacy, I want you to convince me that that was not anyhow politically motivated and that it was for the good of the association. Thank you.
Guys, thank you for your questions. Thank you for how much you care about this. But personally, naenda ongatarongai. So time. So if you can just keep them brief. Uliza tu swali tafadhali. Sawa. So I saw other questions on that side. If there are more questions, please let's just.
And many other stuff. So maybe you can look into that and many other stuff. So maybe you can look into that.
Great. So my question firstly goes to Isaiah. You mentioned, or rather, a lot that you've mentioned is the digital space, and I feel like that's something you have a passion for. And so I know for you, AMSUN Islands is a big deal. So I'm assuming, correct me if I'm wrong, I'm assuming that's your big mandate, or at least that's the one thing you really want to get done. But my question is, after innovation labs already exist, I personally don't know how Jamal was able to pull it off, but it exists. And apparently, from what I've heard and what you mentioned, we don't have that much access to it because of something he specifically did, or at least that regime did. So the question is, would it be easier for us to get or reclaim AFIA innovation labs than establish a completely different or new thing, especially seeing how with a compressed year, you have a shorter time on your seat, we all have things to do, companies are in a horrible economic status, our country itself is in a horrible economic status, so getting cash in this economic environment would be difficult to set up a high class innovation lab. So would it be easier to get that? And then the second question to all the aspirants would be, we have had multiple different promises from all the guys that are running or all the guys contesting for seats. And as a leader among leaders, your job is to coordinate all these people. So with the reduced time frame that we have in this year, that being 25-26, how do you plan to coordinate all these different promises and all these different manifestos so that they are all achieved for the betterment of our entire school body and our welfare? Thank you.
Good evening. So my questions, so for the first question that I have will be directed to all of them. And it's the question that this whole campaign has been riding on an opinion poll that AMSUN has been very associated with the students. And from everyone, from the organizing secretary, from everyone who has spoken, has sort of mentioned it in some way. Yet, at the end of it, it's the chairman, it's a load on your shoulders. The only one that I agree, in my opinion, that has tried addressing it was with the apparels to give an identity that's sort of the same across the whole classes. But I want to also hear about the other two, what are your plans of tackling this? Because, for example, Joel, you pulled strings on your manifesto, on the introduction, that you also want to solve this, but you do not know what you're getting with it. So what are you, what's your plan towards that? And that's the sentiment about that one. The other thing is on the results. Everyone has spoken about the results. Isaiah has said his idea about the database and everything. But for the rest of you, it has seemed to be something that you have heard over and over again that I would articulate for themselves. What's your plan? What will you do different from what the other people have been doing across the other years? Then the third question is specifically to Joel. When you started, you mentioned about acquiring cameras and everything. So I was sort of lost. What's your priority? What's your agenda? Why do you want to become a chairperson? Because your first point really lost me, because that's not your priority. So that's my question to Joel.
I don't think we can accept more questions. That I'm not done enough. So what we'll do, I think they have gotten a barrage of questions. So kindly, for the candidates, take a minute or two to try and, I think the questions will be in a banana maybe. So just try and combine the questions that are similar, and then you have 5 minutes. You have 5 minutes to answer. I think that will be enough time. And then after this, we'll just have closing remarks and then we go home. So, yes, so hang tight.
All right. Let me first appreciate everyone for the questions that have been raised. Let me start by making an observation, and maybe a fun fact, 23 questions, at least directed to me. So I don't know if 5 minutes is sufficient, but let me try my best. So the first one was talking about our participation as students in AMSUN events, and then how I will make my impact felt as a chairman.
Maybe instead of addressing each of the questions individually, you can group them to like the ones with a similar agenda, so you don't have to keep repeating yourself.
I'll try and do that. So, on how I will make my impact be felt as a chairman, and it also goes hand in hand with, the issue about apathy that we have talked about, that we have seen medical students losing interest in AMSUN, right? So let me first say that there is a reason why medical students are losing interest in AMSUN. And I want to believe that the biggest reason, and that I've stated that clearly in my manifesto, is that there's that frustration that AMSUN has been missing in action. Well, this is what AMSUN has been doing, right? There are things that they've gotten right, even the outgoing administration. But the biggest disappointment is that on what mattered most, for instance, about academics, like when we've had issues of delayed results, most people felt that AMSUN was not present to advocate for that. So I think that as a chair, if I can successfully fulfill my roles, if I can endeavor to make AMSUN responsive to the needs of the people, I don't have to stand on top of a mountaintop and shout that, remember me as your AMSUN chair. I think that the work will speak for itself. And I'll give an example. In class, I have received positive feedback from most of my classmates, and I'm not blowing my own trumpet. I think it's because as a class representative, I have learned to have a heart for the people, to want to listen to them and advocate and fight for what is right for them. Someone mentioned about Ndusi, and as correctly observed by Kirod, I served under Ndusi, and there was a lot of mentorship, I must say. And I think during our tenure, there are quite a number of good things that we achieved. And there's a question on, okay, so what will you do differently? So first of all, let me ask that, hold me accountable as to regards to the roles that I have served. Some of them, like the AMSUN External Affairs, were through an election, right? Got into office. some of them was being called to serve as class representative, and some of them was out of initiative. I told you about, recording. No one asked me to record, but I saw need and stepped forward to do that. So if you are to, because I have not been AMSUN chair before, so if you are to hold me accountable as regards to what I was able to achieve as an AMSUN External Affairs, or what I've been able to achieve as a class representative, then I think then we can have that discussion. So maybe I can mention a few things here and there. So Kaviti, you say that there are so many problems that we faced as a class. And I argue that it is because of the system that we are having, mostly broken. And class representatives, and I don't know if the other people have observed that as a class representative, you play a very big role in trying to, keep that system from completely being broken, And so for the first time, we had the pre-finalist class getting results before the finalist class got their results. A little background, as at home, we were on holiday, right? And I remember that time was a harvesting season, so like me and my dad and my brothers in the farm. And then there was this ongoing conversation in the class group and among the reps, and even, I was also like talking about that. And I decided to take initiative. I decided to call all these people. I called UNSA, called AMSUN. I remember calling Vivian. I called the class reps and I told them, hey guys, look, we are having this conversation on the sites. The government and the lecturers are having a conversation about us, and we are not being included in the table. Could we do something about it? So you see, as a class representative, I had like a jurisdiction up to a certain level, but there was need. So I decided to step up and act. So I called for a meeting, and Vivian actually sent those minutes to the class groups, and I can supply them after this. I called for that meeting, laid out that agenda, and I think from that point onwards, I saw things moving. I saw even with the help of UNSA, we were able to call for activism. The thing I was telling you about, I've learned in my tenure as a class representative, we can engage the administration through advocacy, dialogue and negotiation and all that, but they must take us seriously. When they don't, we engage the next level, and that is activism. And activism played a big role in resolving that issue. Let me just get another one. Sorry, there are so many questions, so I'm trying to see which one can be put together. All right. The second one was about, we've seen people come with good ideas and they go without implementing them. That is a very good observation, and I have tried to share, and I think one of my campaign message has been, AMSUN does not suffer from a shortage of ideas. In any case, any idea, in fact, over 90% of the ideas that we presented here have actually been things that have been there before. Talk about research, talk about innovation, right? Those are things that have been there. Talk about charity, for instance, right? We have the Live No Medic behind and the good work that it's doing. And I believe that the problem has been the implementation. And someone asked, what is your one thing that you'd want to do as AMSUN chairperson? And I will tie those two questions together and say that, can we have a working structure? As a class representative, I have learned administration. I have observed that there's no shortage of talent and brilliance in the student community. So as an AMSUN chairperson, if I can be able, to first equip the executive committee, and then, okay, look around. We have the UN Research Club, right? We have the Africa Innovation Lab, which is not doing so well, as Isaiah correctly observed. And we have the Live No Medic behind. And these institutions have taken, some, like the Live No Medic behind has taken more than 3 years to actually found its footing. And I'm passionate about this because I have served in most of them. I have designed posters. I have, I've been sent to submit, what do we call them, proposals on their behalf. I have served in the Africa Innovation Lab, and I saw the amount of work that was put into it. I remember us going to talk to Professor Opanga to be our patron. I remember approaching IHAB and asking them to come on board. I remember being requested to actually go to, that time it was Prof. Madai, that's only the campus, right, to Wangari Madai Institute, right? And we had like a training of trainers, right, on hackathons. So, like, I've seen the amount of work that has gone into building these institutions. I've seen people like Ruby Oswere, like putting in her blood and sweat in building the LNMB. I have seen people like Kulud putting her time into research. You know, I've seen people like Mohammed trying to mentor people and building an institution. And finally, we are, you know, inheriting institutions that if we just made few tweaks, they can actually serve us right. You know, we can have research institutionalized such that it outlives every chairman that goes that exists. So the one thing that I would want to be remembered for is that I want to be remembered as the chairman who hold these different segments that are trying to address the challenges that are facing medical school, and had a conversation with them and told them, you know, we are in an ecosystem and we're supposed to coexist. How can AMSUN best support you to fulfill your mandate, all right? And of course, even as I do that, I also come in with that wealth of experience from a leadership background. Since, I mean, I've had over 4 years of service to the student community. So I have observed firsthand, I've seen the gaps. Someone mentioned that I am people-oriented. I want to thank you. I believe that's a compliment, right? And I also want to mention that I'm also digital-oriented. I've shared my work. I have trained as a software engineer. I have trained as a cloud computing. I am now exploring AI and machine learning. I've told you that I have worked with Aki Innovation Lab. I remember there's one of the conference that we had, and I was presenting there, all right? I presented an idea about, you know, a digital solution on how we can, this is an interesting one, on how we can digitize the materials that we are using.
Thank you so much.
Yes?
We stand the risk of staying here up all night, and I know like you would want to have answer, and unfortunately you are the first candidate. So thank you for your responses, and I know they were
Can I summarize maybe?
If I do that, I stand the risk of being biased. Let's just follow the rules. So, acha tu Kulo aendelee tu. Elewa tu. Uko sawa. Kulo just, I'm so sorry, Masiaga. Siko bad. Let's just follow the rules.
It's okay. It's okay. But it's because again the questions are many, 20 questions.
Good evening. Thank you for the questions. Mine is basically more on the manifesto, as my good friend Bill West called it generic. But I will tell him, these are not generic manifestos. These are short and achievable manifestos, one that I can achieve, because when I put things to action, I am not forgetting things done. I won't write a 16-page manifesto and not achieve even half of it. Mine is simple but achievable. Back to Jimmy, representation at the national level. As the chairperson, you sit in Msake and Kima, and yes, I understand the policy. And around Msake, you've known about the politicking around it, and how these other universities have ganged up and taken out the representation. You cannot bulldoze yourself there and say you come from the University of Nairobi. These things are done diplomatically, coming to agreements with people. Because I know if you read The Animal Farm, you will understand how the animals ganged up and took out the owner. We don't want that to happen again. The same thing that happened in Kenya 2022. That's not something we're looking forward to, because that's what has happened to us. And following the same route shall be detrimental for our representation within Msake. So yeah, we understand and how to get things done over there. To Ivan, who asked about any personal gains when we get into this seat. Mine is to continue the legacy of Mtusi and to have a more vibrant AMSUN, one that represents each and every student's welfare, and build a good doctor out of us. So I have none personal gain from it other than the position. On to Maruga, who has asked how we are going to do away with the 50-year gap. There is something already done, if he is aware of, and he's not currently here, but to address the general public. The UNSA has already started it together with the vice chair, the outgoing vice chair. And what they've done is that they've started early resumption of the 5th years. So the net gain over time is going to do away with this. This is just a basic mathematics. If we put it to paper and get things done, over the years, there shall not be 2 overlapping classes. So yeah. And which other one? The challenges which we are going to face in advocacy. Is there administrative goodwill? Might be, might not. And when we face the might not, we'll continue advocating for our rights as students to the respective administrative offices in conjunction with UNSA, which also represent the whole faculty. But as AMSUN, we'll get things done in conjunction with all the student representation that we have. Right now, if we don't know, there is an administrative goodwill from the faculty. There is a meeting they had, and they're looking forward to a faculty we want. So we will represent each student from AMSUN, and we'll get things done over there. And the other thing is about resource mobilization could be a challenge, because right now we're living in an global economical challenge. Most of these NGOs and partners are not willing to fund the project. So what can we do about it? As you know, AMSUN over the years has only had few revenue sources. Amongst them, the major one being the goodwill from these NGOs and external partners, and the tax shock. So together with an opposed treasurer who is I think is financial genius, we're going to put things in order, get more revenue sources, and since time is against me, I've said my 3 pillars, that is engage, advocate, and engage. This fueled by me being transparent, putting things to action, a decisive action, and being accessible to all. So I promise you I'll be accessible to you guys all. Come next year. Thank you.
Yeah, so I just stand up because the people living, just give us 10 more minutes of your time, tafadhali. Tunafeel like the event is empty. So yeah.
So we can start. So I'll be brief. There are 2 people who have left that asked me pertinent questions, so allow me to skip those. So number 1, somebody asked me if I'm willing to collaborate with them. If you see my manifestos in the open domain, you can be able to check out all the 7 points. I don't mind. Number 2, what are some of the challenges? We have the administration as the biggest challenge. We have, okay, you know the administration how it is. That's one of the challenges that I perceive we have the most. Even I think it's Paul who asked me about the constitution. That's the biggest problem. That's the biggest hindrance to actually implementing that constitution. There were some questions that were asked around the constitution. Somebody asked me, why is it now, even if I came today and said that clause was not followed, somebody would still have asked me, what's the agenda? If I came last week, what's the agenda? I came on Monday, what's the agenda? So the point is, there are some things, even if you read the AMSUN constitution, this is more of an AGM. If you read page 14, where we have the annual general meeting, you'll find that it's supposed to be done 14 days before the elections. That is on a Friday. And that will serve as the day of the debate of the aspirants. So that will ease our
that has not been done. So if I bring up such a situation, would you still say I'm still bringing up an agenda? So accountability, just being able to say, okay, one of the things in the AMSUN constitution as well is that when I was interacting with first years, second years, and third years, they don't even know that there's a constitution at hand. So this needs to be circulated and they need to know about it right from first year so that they are oriented to it. The other thing is AMSUN ILAB the main thing? No, it's not. I have something we call AMSUN Talks. That's where we have something I call the mentorship committee, the mentorship pipeline. When I was in third year, when I had just come from second year, the biggest problem was just trying to figure out my way in Kenyatta National Hospital. It just seemed like a big maze. I don't know where to go to the surgical theaters. I don't know where to find signatures. I don't know how to fill my logbook. So I'm calling it a mentorship pipeline because I'm aiming to have 50 years mentoring 30 years. I'm aiming to have 60 years mentoring 40 years. If, for instance, I take up 5 students, Sean has done this before, and he's seen how he's been able to impact. He just said he impacted Manu Andera here. So imagine if I myself can be able to impact 5 more students, those students will be able to impact another 25. So it's just called a mentorship pipeline. That's how I aim to bridge that gap. So for the promises, we have, so I think we have like 100 things people want to do here. But there's something I call urgent, important. Urgent, not urgent, and important or not important. So you just draw that square and you'll be able to find your way out with things you need to do. So finally, about the Afia Innovation Lab, I think you should ask Joy that one, because he's the one who was one of the people who was able to implement that, and also along the alumni society. So if you have senior doctors who are able to mentor other students, you'll be able to be in that. So for transition, actually I aim to resign my post if I'm given chairperson in 6 months if I'm unable to do a third of the things I say here. Because we need accountability. If I'm unable to do things in 6 months, then there's nothing else I'm going to be able to do in another 12 months. So that's the way I aim to do that transition, because at the end of the day, if I'm unable to do the things I'm unable to do, then there's no way I'm able to transition, I'm able to give a smooth transition to the next chair or to the next person. So thank you so much, and God bless you all.
Thank you so much. Tumemaliza. Mnataka kutoa? Thank you so much. We have started as a full house, but I get people come from far, right? So maybe people have to go home. Mine is just closing remarks, and then you can go. So I'll do the closing remarks, and then my brother Austin will report, and then I can go home. So I have just 3 things to mention. Number 1, I come from a place deeply entrenched in tradition. I was raised with tradition. So basically tradition is just continuity of things done over and over again. And methali ningetumia hapa ni kunguru akipaa juu afiki nini mbingu. Unajua hiyo methali? Kunguru akipaa juu kipungu afiki mbingu. Basically what it means is that all the things you guys are saying is from experience, you won't even get 5%. You'll just probably redo what has been done before, and then you just leave. Josiah can attest, Lemashon Grosia can attest, but it's okay. It's just that we need to have a tradition as the University of Nairobi Med School. Then the next thing I want to talk about is goodwill. Goodwill is the fact that we are all students. Sisi wote hapa ni students except me. Mimi na graduate, but ni wote ni students. So the fact that ni wote mko hapa, I'd want you guys to go on with goodwill. I served as the committee, and kulikuwa na issues, and maybe that's one thing I need to do. Have goodwill for your neighbor, have goodwill for your friend. Okay? And then lastly, I'm not impressed with the girls. Like, it's back 2020. Mbona tuko na only 2 girls by, like, what's up? Just 2. Like 2. Wawili, watatu, 10 positions. Na vile ni warembo, but okay. it's a bit disheartening. It's actually quite a bit disheartening. We've had one, I've been in med school for 7 years, we've had one chair, one female chair. So maybe take that up. Sawa. And thank you for coming. I wish that med school long mates survive. Sawa. Okay. Osto.
Okay. Let us pray to finish the session. Okay. So we are praying. We thank you, our Father God, for the session that we have just finished, the discussions that we have just had. We pray that they may impact our students and the elections that will be carrying out tomorrow. May the will of the students be done. In Jesus' name I pray. Amen.
Thank you for the good work.
So utarudia maswali.
Okay.
Nisikize. Okay.
So hi Gisori. Welcome to the interview, the post-debate interview. So kindly introduce yourself and tell us your work in the Electoral Commission.
Okay, hi, I'm Gisore Morara. I just finished schooling in July this year. So I'm alumni of the University of Nairobi Medical School. I'm graduating next week, December 11th. So I served in the electoral committee, serving as a disciplinarian. Our roles ensured served from running through the applications, looking at the nominations, seeing that all the numbers were well, and then also we were there to solve any disputes that came about from the aspirants. And then today we have run quite a successful debate. The numbers that turned up were good, and the debate spanned for all the aspirants and all the positions. My take from the debate, I think, is that there's quite a lot of cry for a stronger and a more steadier AMSUN. And I think from what I could get from the aspirants is that everyone is actually committed to try and make AMSUN quite a better place. I was not impressed with the fact that most of the positions also went unopposed. Maybe it's because is democracy not working? Are we becoming a monarchy? But maybe that's something the students should answer. And then lastly, I was also not impressed with the number of female candidates in the election, because I feel like med school is actually quite diverse, and there are quite enough female candidates who are actually up to the task and who are actually competent to become leaders. So maybe in the coming future, as an alumni, I'd want to see more positions taken up by female candidates.
Yeah, great. Now, next question is, you tell us how the commission is prepared for tomorrow's process, and what you can tell the electoral, the students who will be turning up to vote.
Right. So preparing for this election has been quite the process. We've actually had meetings with the candidates. We've had meetings with the registrar, the office of the registrar. We've had meetings with the ICT department. So we've all done this to ensure that we've had quite a free and fair election. Yesterday we carried a mock election, and our students brought up things that they thought that could have been a problem. One of the issues brought about was the factor that someone else could have voted for you if they had your credentials. But I think ICT solved that by introducing two-factor authentication, and people were actually managed to vote in the mock election. So I think people should turn up tomorrow knowing that it's going to be free and fair. Things have happened in the background, meetings have taken place, and the administration and the student body at large is aware of what is going on, and I think it's going to be a wonderful election tomorrow.
Thank you so much for assuring us that the election will be free and fair, and we also appreciate you for the work you've done as the commission to make sure that the whole process has been a success. Thank you so much, and we're looking forward to tomorrow's results. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you. Namunite sherehe pia.
Thank you so much.
Okay, hi.
Yeah. Next, we are going to. Yeah, you're good. Next, we're going to have one of the attendees for the debate to tell us how they found the debate. So we're almost done with our live streaming. Our online audience, just hold on for a few minutes as we get to hear from those who have been here from 5 p.m. Tell us your name.
I'm Evans Jr. I've been attending the Aspirants debate, AMSUN Aspirants debate that kicked off as at from 5 p.m. and ended some few minutes ago.
Yeah, great, Evans. We are happy to have you as our interviewee. Now, tell us how you found the debate. What you can say, like, has it changed the way you're going to vote? And was it helpful in ensuring that other students who are going to vote have gotten to understand their candidates?
Yes, I would say that the debate has been so much impactful, and even as we are going to make our decisions tomorrow in the ballot, I believe that now we are going to get to make more more informed decisions by electing those rightful leaders, because we have been able to hear from them.
Yeah, we're good.
So that because we are going to make so much more of an informed decision, because we have been able to hear from the aspirants, we have been able to hear what they have, and actually we have had the chance to question some of their manifestos, or questions on the way on how they are going to handle the problems, because we understand that we have had some aspirants that are able to identify the problems, but what we need is the solutions. So we have seen the kind of solutions or the kind of ideas they bring on how to solve how to bring the solutions. And even as we are approaching tomorrow, we are going to ensure that the one who gave us the best idea on how we are going to solve the problems that are and the challenges that are affecting us as the student body are the ones that we are going to choose tomorrow.
Thank you so much, Evans. And to our audience, we are really grateful for your time, for tuning in and following the debate. Yeah, to our online audience, we really appreciate your time for tuning in to Mastermind Medics TV. Hope the live stream was helpful in getting to understand the candidates who are going to vote for tomorrow. From our side, we remain neutral and we encourage each and every one of you to make an independent and informed decision in tomorrow's poll. Thank you and have a good night.